Okay. I don't listen to you guys, but Morgan might call. If she needs help on something, so I might have to pause you for a second. And then secondly, you know that section yesterday that was giving us such grief? And I said, forget it. Well, I might go back over that again. Oh, I did go over it, and I wrote some stuff down, and I might have Ron take a picture of it and then go over it with you again. So we're not quite done with that one, even though it was kind of crazy. Today's lesson is a lot easier, and you did do this in 5th grade. I know you did because the 5th graders are doing it. So here's some facts you need to know. Remember, do I have my pen working? All right, so if you have a straight line with arrows on each end, you have a line, and a line goes on indefinitely in both directions. Whereas if you have dots on each end, you have what they call a line segment. It starts here, it ends here. If you have like a partial line segment and a partial line, we call that an arrow. Oh, there's Morgan. So let me put you on pause. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Morgan and I are done chit-chatting. She's had a question on one of her math problems. All right, so this is a ray. It starts in one spot and goes on indefinitely in another direction. So angles are made out of 2 rays. So you take one ray going like that, one ray going like that, and then you get an angle. So an angle is 2 rays that share one point, and this one point is called a vertex. Angles are measured by a unit called degrees on your protractor. Those are degrees on your protractor. Congruent angles have the same number of degrees, so 2 90-degree angles would be congruent. We have right angles. They are 90-degree angles, and they will show you that it's 90 degrees with that little square right there. Acute angles, I always think of the word cute, they are smaller than 90 degrees, whereas obtuse are bigger than 90 degrees. A straight angle is a straight line. The only thing, Lily, it's my dog, sorry. She does, everybody's walking their dogs now that they can't go anywhere. And crazy. I can't get this to go away. Come on. All right, I give up. How about this? There we go. Okay, so straight angle is 180 degrees, which is straight way across the circle. 180 degrees from here to here is 180 degrees. Another 180 degrees would be from here to here. Thus, a circle is 360 degrees, which is 180 twice. Okay? All right, let's name these angles. So this angle right here is bigger than a 90-degree angle, which would be about right here. So we would call it obtuse. This is a straight angle. This is acute, smaller. And this is the right angle. Okay? If you have a 50-degree angle, that's less than 90, so it would be acute. 90 degrees is right. 125 is more than 90, so it would be obtuse. And 180 is all the way across. Oops, straight. All right, answer these questions. Ella constructed 60-degree angles in her circle. How many angles could she construct? So if her angles are 60 degrees, how many degrees is a circle? 360 degrees. Now we can just cross out both of those. 6 into 36. How many angles could she get? Correct. She could get 6 angles. Angels. Okay. B. Lily. Now she's right on top. An acute angle with 102 degrees. What is wrong You guys know what's wrong with that? Give you a hint. It has to do with this and this right here. Acute angles are less. So you could say something are less than 90 degrees. So a 102-degree angle would be an obtuse angle. Mayer constructed two 75-degree angles. Why did he call them congruent angles? Because two angles with the same measures, I'm abbreviating here, are congruent. Gotta run out. Boop. Lacey told Jacob that her angle was bigger than his because her rays were longer than his. What is wrong with her statement? Well, does it matter how long your lines are? No. So I would say size of angle not determined by the erase length of rays. How about that? Okay. Find the answers, if necessary, round to the nearest hundredth. So if they go more than two places after the decimal, we'll round them up. What's the area of the parallelogram? Remember, area is base times height. So we're going to do 6.42 times 3.9. And I'll do this with you. 2 times 9, 36, 37. If I go too fast, just pause me. 54, 57, and then 6. This is 3 places after the decimal. So we got 3. Because it's more than 2 places after the decimal, we got 8. That 8 is going to round the 3 up to a 4. So 5.0 squared. Alright, what is the circumference and area of a circle with 11-inch diameter? So circumference, first of all, is pi times diameter. So let's do that. 3.14 times 11. Is that what you get? And that would just be plain inches. The area of the circle is pi times r squared. So the radius is half of 11, which is 5.5, right? Which is 5.5. So let's do 5.5 times 5.5. Lots of 5s. This will just repeat itself because they're both 5s. 12, 10, 3, 30.05. 30.25, I mean. Alright, now I have to do 30.25 times 3.14. Or try to write small here. It's almost impossible with this. 30.25, 3. 5, 2, 0, 3. and then 15, 7, 0, 9. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake. I have to round that. Let me see if my answer is right. Oh, it's amazing. That's right. All right. So we only went 2 places after the decimal. That 5 is going to round that up, that 8 up to a 9. So my final answer, I don't even really have any room, 94.99 inches squared. All right, I'm going to try to get to the back here. This is it. Let's flip it. There we go. All right. Construct a circle graph. All right, so I am not going to be able to draw the circle for you, but I will help you get the percents. And then you can draw the circle. All right, I'll help you get the degrees too. All right, I might have to work and erase. I might work down at the bottom a little bit. So Andy made a budget for his $20 a week allowance. He gives $2 to the church, saves $4, spends $3 on others, and uses $11 on things he enjoys. Construct the angles that are less than 180 degrees first. The angle that is greater than 180 degrees will be the remaining angle in the circle. But the first thing we have to do is figure out those percents and then figure out what that is in our circle. Okay? All right, so the first thing we have a $20 budget. So the first thing we have is the church, and the church is $2 out of 20. That reduces to 1/10, which is 10%. So up here, I'm going to write church 10%. Do you agree with me? Okay. He saves $4 out of 20, which that reduces to 1/5. Do you remember what 1/5 is a percent? It's 20%. So savings is 20%. He spends $3 on others out of the 20. That does not reduce. So we're going to have to do 3 divided by 20. 20 into 30 once. 10 out of 0, that's 5. 20 into 100 goes 5 times. So 15% will be what he spends on others. $11 out of 20 is what he spends on himself, and that cannot be reduced. So it'll be 11 divided by 20. Add a decimal and a 0. 20 into 110, that would be 5 times, which would make 100. I don't know why that's jumping around. That's 10. Add another 0, goes in 5 times again, and that comes out even that time. So I'm just going to put spending, or spends, 55%. Now if we did this right, this should come up to 100. 5, 10 is 100. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100%. That's one way to check to see if you got that right. Now if you end up with part decimals, like say 20.5% and 15.2% and all that kind of stuff, you may not exactly get 100, but you should be pretty close. All right, now we have to change these percents to degrees on your circle so that you know how big to make each angle in your circle when you make it. And I would suggest you do this part on another piece of paper. Okay? All right, so how many degrees is a circle? A circle, is 360 degrees, right? So we're trying to find out what 10% of 360 degrees is. So what do we do here? Change the 10% to 0.10. Of means times and 360. All right? 10% of 360. Let me erase here this. So you could do 360 times 0.10. Another thing you can do is you can just take off one of the zeros, because what you're doing is you're moving the decimal over once. But if you're not comfortable with that, you could just do 360 times 10, and you get 36, don't you? So I know that for the church part, that is going to have to be 36 degrees. Now let's do the savings. I won't write this out for all of them. So the savings will be 360 times 0.20, which will just be double of the 36. Do you see that? If 10% is 36 degrees, 20% would just be 36 twice, which is 72. Or you could multiply this. That would all be zeros. Or you could use our little trick, get rid of that 0, get rid of that 0. Right? Put this 0 back in. This 0 didn't make a difference. Put the decimal in. Whoops, put the decimal in right here. And you get 72. Either way, you get 72 every time. Whichever way you want to do it. Okay? The others that he spends 15% on. So you're going to do 360 times 0.15. Whoops. And to make my life easier, I'm going to do it 36 times 0.15 and add the 0 in later. 30, 15, 18, 6, 3, 0, 14, 5. Did I get that right? I can add my 0 in now, and then 2 places, because it was 0.15, I have 54. So this is a 54 degree angle. And then finally, 360, which I'm not going to use the 0, times 0.55.